Who's most likely to be Historia's baby's daddy? Attention, after recent chapters, new information has come to light, so I will be editing my answer to make T as faithful and truthful to the manga as possible. Anyway, the candidates remain the same. Either Eren or the farmer is the father of Historia's baby. This answer covers everything that has transpired up to chapter 136. Assumptions. In order to make a case for both of them, I will have to take into consideration the final panel of the manga, revealed by Isayama in November 2018. Said panel showcases a man holding a newborn child and saying to said child, "You are free." At this moment in the story, the only known pregnant character is Historia, and right now, as of chapter 136 from the planned 139, she is shown to be giving birth. Considering that we are 3 chapters away from the ending, Historia is giving birth in a pregnancy that has occupied quite a few pages of the last arc and all of Historia's plotline, and that the final panel depicts a man holding a newborn, we can safely assume that the kid is in fact Historia's. And since the kid is Historia's, it would only make sense for the man holding that kid to be the kid's father. Attack on Titan has given quite an importance to the relationship between kids and their parents. Eren with Grisha and Carla, Zeke with Grisha, Historia with Alma and Rod, Frida with Rod, and so on. It doesn't add anything to the story if the man holding the kid is not the biological father. So, moving on to each of the 2 characters, what arguments exist for and against Eren and the farmer? Let's start with our protagonist, Eren Yeager. Arguments for Eren? Eren and Historia are very close. If Historia were to have a kid, she would most likely choose a person she feels comfortable with. Eren is the only main male character who is shown to be close to her, so it could very well be him. One of the biggest arguments in favor of Eren being the father is that Historia got pregnant before Eren left Marley. Arguments against Eren. This is the day before Eren left the Survey Corps and infiltrated Marley. Historia is already pregnant. Why does he ask Mikasa this, if he is so much in love with Historia? Eren will never have a kid out of obligation, so he must be in love. That child symbolizes the birth of the new world. A world free from hate and curses. A new world of freedom. Eren represents everything wrong with the old world, and at the same time, he is the doom of the old world. Such a person cannot be in the picture, which symbolizes exact opposite themes. Arguments against the farmer. He is a nameless, faceless character. Where is his redemption arc? How comes he talks about freedom? Does Historia love him? Why would she have a child, and with him of all people? The way he was introduced was sketchy as hell. At first glance it seems like the guy has no business being in the final panel. One could easily say that he is a red herring. But I am not so sure. Lastly, I mentioned in the beginning of the post that it can only be Historia's kid in the final panel, and that it can only be the child's father who holds said kid. After all, it wouldn't make sense for Eren to be the father, only for the farmer to hold the kid. What would be the point of revealing Eren as the father if that were the case? Wait, did I really imply that there is no way for Eren to be in the final panel? Yes, I did. The story heavily hints towards an ending where Eren is killed by his friends Mikasa, and peace is achieved by Armin, mostly equals he is going to save humanity. So, Eren will be dead by the time Historia gives birth. That's how the story ends. That's why it's the farmer who fathered Historia's kid. Of course, all of these could be a bunch of nonsense and I could be wrong. But I am willing to bet that I am not.